What's up guys, it's your favourite golf reject coming back at you with another video. So today we have kind of what I think is going to be a big project. Today we're doing a Venom look. I got a Spider-Man suit and everything. And this is part of the Halloween series, but this is also one of my Comic-Con costumes. So let's see how this looks. So first of all, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be brushing my hair to one side using some Got to Be to stick it. We'll tie it out of the way while we do the rest, and then hopefully it should stay in place. So to start with, I'm just going to quickly pull my hair this way. I might brush it through a little bit. We're just getting right into the makeup today because this look is gonna this look is gonna take a little while. Oh my god. Well, at least I know it will probably stay this way. Let's brush that in. Bussin'. And then we'll just quickly tie our hair to the side. And hopefully that hopefully that sets. Alright, so what I'm going in with now is I'm going in with some clear latex, and I'm going to start off by doing our neck because it's probably going to be one of the biggest points that's going to take the longest to dry, the most annoying to set, all of that. So let's do it now. So I'm mixing that with some black powder paint. The one I'm using is non-toxic. Make sure it's non-toxic if you do this. And as you're mixing it together, it will look very grey, but that's fine because it's not going to look, it will look almost like Oreo dust mixed with milk. And that's kind of how you want it to look. Like, it's not going to look pitch black. But as the latex dries, it will go clear. And, yeah. I'm mixing it with a pencil, and I'm doing my whole neck. Which I'm sure, given the other 3 videos that I'm filming tonight/today, will be fine. Now, the reason I'm not just doing black neck paint, like some people might, is because I like being uncomfortable. I'm kidding. No, so essentially I want like that venomy embryo look, which he looks quite latexy. We're just being efficient today. So, funny story, I did record audio for this video, but it turned out absolutely horrible, so you're stuck with voice over me. Here I am just waiting for the latex I put on my neck to dry out. It dried in about 2 to 3 minutes. I thought it was going to be like a 10-minute job, but the additional powder we mixed in actually allowed it to dry out quite quickly. And then I'm just going in with a black snazzy paint and just marking out where I'm going to be placing my symbiote. Now, this doesn't have to be one definite line. You can mess about a bit, place it however you want, but just don't place it straight. When you look at Venom in the movie, it's all messed up. It's not really any straight lines. It's like when you're blending out cotton and latex. You don't particularly want a straight line. Now I'm just marking out where my eye is going to be, but actually as the video went on, the eye became quite tricky to do because I hadn't even glued my brows down and I was going to be using latex near them. We went back and forth with the eye. It was tricky, but you don't have to mark it out this early. Long story short. So then after going in with that glue stick, I'm just going in with a powder and just using a beauty blender to press that in. Some pretty basic eyebrow eraser procedures, I guess. That was an odd sentence. I can do a video on it if you guys want, but I am definitely not an expert. So then next up I'm just going in, I'm googling a picture of Venom's face because I was looking at this and I was like, bro, this doesn't look correct. And I was right. The eye was totally wrong. It was in the wrong placement, and even after checking, I still did it wrong yet again, which is what made me laugh. But we learn from our failures more than our successes, and I learned a lot from doing this look. Mainly how much patience I have, which is not a lot. Here I am just wiping off what I drew. I go back and forth a bit with this. I'm just going to cut the long part out. Long story short, block your eye out before you mark your eye and make sure you mark it correctly. It will save you like 40 minutes, I promise. Alright, our glam side tutorial. Let's absolutely speedrun this because it is not the focus of the video. I'm just doing what would correlate as my everyday glam look, which is essentially a base coat, some eyeshadow, some brows, some lipstick, a little bit of blush, a little bit of concealer, and some heavy ass eyeliner. You can do whatever lines up with your everyday look. This is what lines up with my everyday look. If you want to do a more glam look, you can do a more glam look. If you want to wear no makeup on that side at all, you can wear no makeup on that side at all. This side really doesn't matter that much. So the next part we're doing is a bit more important. We're blocking out our eye, so I'm just using a ripped up part of a makeup wipe, using some latex to stick that down along the edges just to hold it down. And then I'm just going around the edges of that with some torn up cotton balls. As always, when we're using cotton and latex, you want no straight pieces, you want them jagged edges, which will blend absolutely nicely and look as natural as something within a look like this can look. I'm using my fingers for this. If you're doing it in a professional sense, please use a sponge. But where I only had one eye, it was easier to feel what I was doing than see at this point. Then I'm going along my bottom jaw and I'm adding some cotton to that, and this is where we're actually going to start forming our mouth. Now, you could 100% use a life cast and do this a lot easier the day before or so, but I don't have one, and this is how I've done a lot of my looks before. It works out well. You just have to take a little bit more time to allow things to dry and just a little bit more patience. But if you have a life cast, 100% use it if you want. Just do what I'm doing here on your life cast rather than your face. And what I'm doing is I'm using large pulled out pieces of cotton to create the bottom jaw shape, and then I'm going to mirror that on the top jaw. So I'm just pulling those out, putting cotton on the inside edge that will be touching my face, applying just enough cotton and latex to get rid of that cottony texture and make it that skin effect that we really want. And then I'm just using my finger under that to blend it outwards and just get those mouth pieces. Here I am blending that into our skin half. And I actually ended up moving the start of our mouth up like that there, just to mirror the Venom poster, where Eddie and Venom's mouths do line up. So here I am actually making our teeth. I just painted a piece of paper with some brown eyeshadow, cut some triangles out of that. You don't want them too big or too small. Sort of size them around your mouth size. Each one will be different based on how you build this. Make them as uneven and messed up as you can though, because that will look sick. And I don't think his teeth are all symmetrical. So you remember when I told you that the eye got messed up a couple of times? This would be that part. So you see where I'm drawing it? I'm just drawing it a little bit too low. Venom's face is big and exaggerated compared to Eddie's human side. And I was sort of like, oh, it needs to line up with my actual eye. I was stupid. Don't do what I do. I just moved it up later. You can layer white watercolors on top of black watercolors. Just make sure they're dry, mix them nice and opaque, and you should be able to just fix right over them. It's completely fine. So here I am using a black watercolor as a base coat where I thought I was going to put a lot of it. Once the eye moved, it got a bit messed up, but then I used that as a base coat, and afterwards I just went over with a little bit of our black latex once the eye was fixed, and that carried the symbiote look over nicely. Here I am wondering why it just doesn't look right, and I'm absolutely hating the eye placement right now. Then, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going in with some of that black latex with that super awesome quick drying, and I'm using that to just fill in over my cotton and latex and just make it that really awesome 3D effect. And it was really good at filling in some of the holes that were created with the weight of the look, and this really fixed it. This is where the eye looked really goofy. I was like, oh my god, how can I fix this? I'm trying to fix it, and then I think soon enough I just sort of give up. Yeah, here I am going in with that white, I think, and I'm just drawing that over as much as I can, just like, oh my god, I'm so screwed. And then once I actually started stacking it up over the black, it started looking a lot better for me. So to make your makeup more opaque, specifically with watercolors, use less water, mix it together more, and that's how you can get a more sort of opaque color. So I was just like, I'm gonna let that dry and then I can carve out the eye from there. Better to have more than less. And then while I wait for that, I'm going in, I'm applying a little bit of latex to our mouthpiece. Then I'm going in with some scar wax and I'm using that to make sort of our gums almost, which worked out really well actually. And it just was a great little thing that I used to sort of hold the teeth in place. So I'm rolling that into like little cylinder shapes, sort of shaping that into our mouthpiece. I put a layer of latex down first just to help it stick because it does sometimes have an issue holding. Then I'm putting some latex over that, and this was just really good at holding our teeth in place, and it just also allowed the mouth to have a little bit more shape it was struggling with. And then next up, while I waited for that to dry down, I just went in with some more of that black latex just around the mouth just to sort of blend everything. Because at this point, none of the seams were particularly harsh, but they weren't particularly blended in the way I wanted them to be. And then next up, I'm going in with the finest brush I own just to reline that eye. I'm really taking my time, trying my best to look at my reference picture with my one eye, and just trying to get those lines nice and clean. And then after that, I actually went into my hairline a little bit, And I'm just touching up everything on this side, particularly the eye because it's still looking a little bit messy. And after that, I just went in with some red and purple watercolours, mixed them together to get sort of like the venom flesh tone, and I'm just putting that in the open part of the mouth and going over those gums we built in. It was at this point I actually started having faith in the look again, because there were certain points where I was like, oh wow, this just video is just not going to be uploaded. It's just one of those videos, but I actually really liked how it turned out. So now I'm going in with that black watercolour again, and I'm just adding like some lines from the symbiote side, as like the symbiote doesn't particularly like to stay in one corner. When you look in the movie, I believe it was one of the original Spider-Man movies, it's kind of like half attaches to his face. That was kind of the look I was going for. I think it also happens in the newer Venom. I don't know, this look was mostly based off the old Spider-Man Venom though, because I don't fucking know. That's the one I like, and that's the one I chose, and it's my makeup look, and I can do it. Oh, I just completely missed putting in the teeth. Okay, so we cut out our teeth earlier, and now I'm just sticking them in. Where we put that scar wax in, I can actually just push it into the scar wax, and the teeth will mould around that, essentially, and hold in place nicely. If you have any worries about them staying in place, though, you can use a little bit of spirit gum or latex just to sort of hold them in place. But I was pretty confident in them holding in place. And yes, I could have used polymorph plastic teeth here, but the added weight just wouldn't have held on as well. If you're making a mask you're going to reuse, though, you could 100% use that here. And now I'm just going in and painting over the teeth to blend them into the gums a little bit. And then I'm just adding a little bit of blood over the teeth themselves. And then other than that, I think our look is pretty much done. This was actually one of the most fun looks I've done. I was so scared at so many points, but it actually looks really sick. Ah, the Spider-Man suit. Fucking hedge 9. But with everything on, this looks sick. I couldn't be asked to make a full FX tongue, so I just painted a cotton ball red. But I think it looks pretty fucking sick. I'm gonna go make a bunch of TikToks, and I'll see you guys when I take it off. Thank you for watching so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care of yourself. Lots of love. Bye.